Hello and welcome to another Alchemy video here on the official MTG Arena channel. Today we're exploring the new Alchemy set with Tarkir Dragonstorm, which introduced a bunch of new cards, including some exciting additions for the blue-red aggro archetype. We've got the new Swiftspear's Teachings. While Monastery Swiftspear itself is no longer in Alchemy, we now get to essentially replicate it in sorcery form, giving us a one-time boon with whenever we cast a creature spell it gains prowess and haste, and it's also a cantrip, so it always replaces itself drawing a card. So a great way to cast multiple spells in the same turn, and it also curves perfectly into the Enduring Friendship, a 2-mana 2/1 enchantment creature with double team. So double team creature, once it attacks, will generate another copy of itself in our hand, which will no longer have double team. And then whenever we cast an instant or sorcery spell, creatures we control that are Otters and or enchantments get +1/+1 until end of turn. So this is kind of like a pseudo prowess ability, and if we can get 2 of these Otters on the battlefield with that same ability, the damage can add up very quickly. And then much like the Glimmers from Duskmourn, when this dies, we get to return it in enchantment form, so then we still get that bonus for our other Otters that we might have on the battlefield. And then of course the other Otters are in the form of Otter tokens from Stormchaser's Talent, making a 1/1 Otter with prowess, and then we can level it up, getting back instants and sorceries from the graveyard. And then if we can get it to level 3 for those very grindy matchups, whenever we cast an instant or sorcery spell, we now get to make another one of those Otter tokens. And then at the Quarry Steel Cutter, another very nice addition from Tarkir Dragonstorm, also slots in perfectly in a deck that wants to cast multiple spells in the same turn anyway. And then we get to now make a Monk token each time, equip it with a Cutter, so we can immediately attack. And the prowess also adds up very quickly when we can cast lots of cheap instants and sorceries. And then another new addition from the Alchemy Tarkir Dragonstorm set is the Illuminating Lash. A 2-mana sorcery, deals 3 damage to any target, so this can also burn the opponent out. And we also get a one-time boon, saying whenever we cast a non-creature spell, we draw a card. So it will eventually replace itself, but in a deck that only has 4 creatures, we're very likely to get that extra card right away. So that's another excellent addition for this style of deck. And then we also get to play a small chorus package, just the blue and red ones, but they're great if you draw multiples. The Shanty first deals 2 damage if it's our first chorus card we're casting, and then our other chorus cards will intensify by 1, so now the next Shanty can deal 3 damage, or if we go turn 1 Shanty, then at turn 2, Hymn to the Ages, instead of just drawing 1 card, we'll draw 2 cards, intensifying all future copies once more, so that also plays very well with the Stormchaser's Talents level 2, getting back one of those chorus cards from the graveyard, because then they're guaranteed to be more effective the next time we cast them. And then we've got some more cheap instants and sorceries to round things out. Burst Lightning can deal 2 to any target, can kick it later 2 for 4 damage instead. And then another cheap cantrip at instant speed with Opt. And then Into the Floodmaw rounds things out as a versatile bounce spell that can also get rid of non-creature permanents. And then the mana base has all the good blue-red dual lands we have access to with Verge and Spirebluff, and then Crossroads also usually will enter untapped when we need it to, and then we've got some more basics to round it out. So yeah, that's our deck. Now let's jump into some games and see how the deck does. Okay, we're on the draw with a fine hand. Talent into the new Illuminating Lash on turn 2, and then we've got plenty of ways to enable it. Opponent black-white could be the Pixie deck with a powerful 3-mana Saga. Found our Cutter. So yeah, if they present a target for Lash, that would be ideal. If not, we can always go face as well. Or we can play our Cutter on turn 2. And yep, there's the Pixie. Opponent passes. So we've got a few options here. Could also go double talents, hit for 3, and then next turn Cutter plus Opt is an option. Yeah, don't hate that. There's no temporary lockdown to worry about in Alchemy, since that card rotated out a while ago. But there could still be other sweepers. And yep, that's one of them. The Regent giving our team -1/-1. So that's a setback. But we can get back on the board. And a land's not bad, since that'll allow me to double Lash. And then we can start leveling up the talent as well. And yep, there's Noctamoon shines again. Pumping all their creatures and their library as well. So this turn we can Lash plus Opt. And then we need to find more spells. So now we're maybe flooding out a little bit. But that's where talent can also come in handy. The fact that Lash can go face means just leveling up the talent a few times could burn the opponent out. Opponents hit a Dollmaker, which can once again trigger Noctamoon. So now all their creatures have +2/+2. So it's going to be difficult to get through on the ground. And now a Deep Cavern Bat, that's annoying since that can take our Lash. And it's also a lifelinker. So the Dollmaker can make tokens indestructible once. At least the Bat's not a token. But next turn they'll likely find more ways to re-enable their Noctamoon. I guess this is a token, so they cannot pick that one up. So their opponent just leaves Pixie on the battlefield into the Floodmark and now answer the Bat. Temporarily get our burn spell back. And try and string something together here. That might be the play. As opposed to I could also bounce their Saga, but I don't think we care all that much. And then I can Lash the Pixie. Or we can go face. I think I still deal with the Pixie. And then I don't think I move the equipment, since that monk doesn't necessarily have a good attack. Although it's probably worth it to attack with both. That way if they block the 3/3, they're within burn range of my Lash. So then I play Crossroads. Next turn level up talents and get back my burn spells, so unless they can gain life some other way, we can burn them out. So their opponent found the Kirin, but once again this is a token, so if they pick it up it goes away. Nothing to take with the Bat. Their opponent's going to wipe the board with the Regent once again. Unless they can make me discard the lands, they should still be dead to talent, get back a Lash. And yeah, opponent just replays the Bat, knows about the land in hand. So yeah, this was a pretty nice showcase of Illuminating Lash. And we faced what is arguably the best deck in Alchemy, at least before this new set came out. And finally picked up one of our Chorus cards, but I'm not gonna need it. On to the next one. Okay, we're on the play. We have two of our Chorus cards, Enduring Friendship as a threat. So yeah, this is decent. We are on the play, so Crossroads will enter tapped initially. Can keep up Shanty and Opt. Facing a red aggro deck. Alright, perfect. So we found a target for Shanty. Can still play the Friendship first, although now with the Teachings, we could just give it haste, assuming we draw an untapped land with our draw 2. And there's a Challenger. At least we don't need to worry about Monstrous Rage in Alchemy, since that card got banned. Alright, so some nice pickups, but I'm liking Teachings. Give us a haste and prowess boon for Friendship, so we can immediately attack and enable double team. Alright. And then we've got 2 more Chorus cards in hands, which can help take over. Manifold Mouse for double strike. Still effective. But we do have a Shanty to take care of 1 creature at least. Could see a different pump spell on the Challenger. Might have the Meek. Okay, so we're taking 8 damage. Untap. Now Crossroads enters untapped at least. So I've got a few options. Probably want to kind of assume the control role for a little bit since we have him. So I can Shanty one of the creatures and then draw 4. Maybe find another removal spell. So which one's more threatening? It might be the Challenger actually. So I'll start there. Then draw 4. Did not find a removal spell, but we can play a talent out. And then it's probably worth it to attack. And then the Friendship also affects the Otter token. So next turn I could play another Friendship and then cast a flurry of instants and sorceries to maybe present lethal. Screaming Nemesis, that's okay. So we're taking at least 5. But I'm pretty sure we can just end the game here. Could also double Lash my opponent. If I go Friendship, Lash, Opt, that could also be good. Draw for boon we just got. And sure. And yeah, that's an attack for 15. On to the next one. Okay, we're on the play with a keepable hand. Teachings perfect for setting up our Friendship. And then turn 3 Cutter can immediately enable itself as well. Opponent with a tapped land. So Friendship gets to connect. And then the second copy we might also be able to give haste. Although that one's less important since we care about the double team one. But yeah, next turn Cutter into another Teachings could be our play. And a Soothsayer from our opponent, that's fine. Alright, so I'm gonna stick to the plan here. Although I suppose I could also Burst Lightning their lifelinker. And then next turn I could still go Teachings to give this haste if I really want to. Although then I do miss out on some prowess triggers potentially. So I'll let them attack if they want to. So now if we play the Friendship, it will have prowess and haste. Burst Lightning gives this a ton of extra power and toughness from double Friendship triggering. And the prowess, they do have an Essence Channeler. And a gain lane, that's actually quite relevant, since now with the attack it goes up to 3 toughness. So then I guess we're just targeting the Soothsayer as opposed to the Channeler itself. This does enter untapped now. So I could also Lash, I guess, the Channeler, that works out. Even though they get to move the counters onto the Soothsayer, it will still be within range of another Lash. And this way we've got a nice clean attack. And I guess we're also just attacking for lethal. Wow. Didn't expect that to be the case yet, but there we have it. On to the next one. Alright, we're on the draw. Double Shanty, missing the Author Chorus to really benefit from it. No creature to go with the Teachings yet, but yeah, we've got a few cantrips, so our hand could still improve. So we'll give it a shot. Alright, now with the Friendship, Teachings looks a lot better. And there's him, perfect, so found our creature and our chorus. And our opponent taps out, so we get to connect with the Friendship. The Rakshasa does present a pretty big hit. So our opponent's on a demon deck. They've got Slasher, they'll have Bloodletter most likely. And then the Rakshasa can also enable the Unholy Annex. Okay, so a little bit limited on her red mana. Shanty I could cast after I cast him, so deals 3 to the Slasher. So I could go him first and then Shanty. Yeah, that seems reasonable since we're not really lacking card advantage. And then hit you for 6. Next turn I could play a pair of Enduring Friendships. Take 5. And another Rakshasa. Fair enough. Drew the Cutter. So we have options. If I play Cutter into Opt, I can still Shanty to deal with a Slasher for good. This one does not go face. Yeah, that's a reasonable play. Could also play another Friendship, but it's without haste. But yeah, if I do go with another Friendship and then cast some more instants, this will also pump the other Friendship, but they might have removal up. So in the face of removal, I'm liking Cutter into Opt plus Shanty. So we have to do that now. Can Opt, see if we find something else useful. Island isn't a priority. Another Teachings. Could cast that one. Slasher still remains tapped. So we don't really need to shanty it now. Yeah, I guess all teachings. And then the next friendship will also enter with prowess and haste. This one still has double team, so we can find another copy. And a fanatical offering, alright. So no removal spell, opponent falls to 2, so now Lash is lethal. Don't need to worry about getting comboed out by Bloodletter since Slasher is still tapped. And there's another one. So a few ways we could do this, but I'm liking Friendship into Lash. Don't think they'll have any instant speed life gain necessarily, but just to go with the proper sequencing here. Shoot the Sheriff, that happens. Still get the Friendship back in enchantment form. And I could just go face here, or we could clear the Slasher. Get a bunch more triggers. And that'll do it. On to the next one. Okay, we're on the play with a fine hand. Talent into Friendship. Hope it doesn't get removed before we get to attack. Facing black-white, life gain. I'm fine to trade for their Bat token. Should have attacked before casting the Friendship, but the fact that they took it after I tapped out just implies that they value the Ruin Lurker Bat quite highly. Right, Sheltered by Ghosts explains why. Actually goes for my enchantment. Okay, don't think I mind. Maybe our opponent was worried about this town ain't big enough bouncing it, but that's not a card we're running. So I can opt first, look for other interaction. Alright, another hymn. So can cast those back to back. Although I think for now I still play another Friendship out. So next turn we can go drawing 4 mana, draw 3. Not a terrible rate. Although if we find a shanty, it can become a lot better. Soothsayer is next. Okay, so step 1 him. Attack. And then him again. Opponent already has to consider chump blocking. Since the damage is piling up, opponent takes it, so this might just be lethal. Sure looks like it. Sweet, on to the next one. Okay, we're on the draw. Our hand's got all 1-drops, missing some of our more exciting 2-mana cards, but it's got lots of interaction, couple cantrips, so we'll find those 2-drops eventually. In the meantime, maybe starting with a talent, and then turn 2 we can opt and deal 2 damage. Opponent's also blue-red, but they're on Taigam. Right, good target for Shanty. And then I can still opt, so I guess I'll opt first. Don't need another Burst Lightning. Hit for 3. So we are currently a bit threat light. If they deal with my Otter, I'm not really doing much. The Lost Witness will make a Fibblethip. And yeah, we're not doing much at the moment. Unless I just want to burst lightning face to trigger prowess. I don't think that's where I'm at. Next turn I can level up the talents. And then getting back Shanty also means those keep getting better. Untap. Attack. Yeah, it's a shame we don't have more pressure since our opponent's not doing much. I think I actually get back the opt since we need to find some more threats. Our opponent's got their own Enduring Friendship. Good to bounce as well as to just burn it, but I'll start with opts. Don't need more lands. Cast Teachings. And then, yeah, I might just want to bounce the Friendship so they don't get the enchantment afterwards. And keep the burn spells available. Could also burst lightning now to trigger prowess, or we can wait to cast it with kicker. Maybe I'll cast one now. So it's basically a semi-kicked burst lightning dealing 3 damage, if you think about it that way. And this one we can kick for 4 damage. Alright, bonus got a Raw Crackling Wit. Makes an Otter. So I could Shanty in my turn just to get the extra prowess trigger. This can also deal damage to planeswalkers directly. So we've got a few options. Another talent. So what are we thinking? Maybe it is better to deal with the Raw, or we can try and go for a more aggressive line, assuming the opponent can gain life and doesn't have counter spells. If I burst lightning their face and clear the Otter, then talents eventually leveling up and getting back another burst lightning could be lethal, although they might go off with their Raw in the meantime. So it's a tricky spot. Maybe we don't have to go all out aggro and we can deal with the Raw first. But I don't know how much late game we necessarily have. Can always get this to level 3, I suppose. But yeah, I'm kind of tempted to just go face here. This puts our opponent to 1. If I just cast a normal burst lightning, I can play another talent. But then we're not dealing quite as much damage. Let's go face. Next turn I can play talent, level up, get back burst lightning and immediately cast it for 1 mana. So they need to keep up counter spells. Opponent's got their own Shanty. They do have 2 mana up. Rawl makes an Otter. Alright, let's see if they have a counterspell left. Didn't seem to be the case. Get back a burst lightning. And that should do it. So yeah, even with a threat light hand, we eventually assembled enough burn spells to get the job done. So yeah, overall I'm very impressed by this blue-red aggro deck, and the new additions from the Alchemy set slot in perfectly. They were almost designed specifically for this archetype. Getting your double team creature haste and prowess means you immediately get to enable it, and then the 3 damage and eventually draw card is also a perfect addition. The fact that it can go face means it's another burn spell that can help close games out once your creatures are dealt with. So yeah, this deck attacks from a lot of different angles. The Cutter, of course, one of the more exciting additions from Tarkir Dragonstorm, also found a great home here. So yeah, can't say enough good things about it. Definitely give it a shot if you're interested in Alchemy. So that's going to do it for today's gameplay. Want to thank you for watching, hope you enjoyed, and as always, have a nice day.